Amma?
Yes, Nora? You seem to have a question already. You're having a lot of questions lately. You know, it's Christmas tomorrow, and I've got to get a lot of work done.
But this is an important one.
What about?
It's about these new building blocks. Amma, why are these blocks different?
Oh, what do you mean?
Look at these two. They look the same, but they don't feel the same. This one is much lighter, and this one is so heavy. How can I use them?
Oh, well, that's because these were uniquely made. They were made for different purposes and with different sources of wood.
But why? Why can't they all be the same?
Well, that's because your dad bought them. But he knows the purpose he has for each of them. Each of them have a specific goal in mind, a specific idea. Just like God the Father makes all of us different with different plans, just like you.
This sounds complex. What if they don't fulfill their purpose? Would they be of no use?
You're talking about wooden blocks?
No, not exactly. I'm talking about people like me. What if I don't do that well? Will God still love me? What if I don't make good choices? What then, huh?
That's easy. That's an easy question.
Tell me.
Well, we'll just replace you and buy a new kid.
Excuse me, Dad always says I'm irritatable.
I think he meant irreplaceable. Anyway, if you ever think your mistakes outweigh your life, we won't be worried because hope is born for us all and we celebrate it tomorrow.
Wait, hope is born tomorrow?
No. Hope was born for us all several years ago.
But how is that important now?
Okay, wait, let me tell you a couple of stories. Why don't you just sit down and let me get this apron off. All right. A long time ago, and at a time further from today, there lived a young woman by name Rahab. Now, she lived in the most difficult circumstances. She was the only provider for her family, and she lived in the city wall with the biggest city walls for defense. Let's take a look at her life.
Why? To whom must I cry out to? What more do I have to lose? I'm so tired of people calling me names. I'm misunderstood. They stand in the street corners and gossip all day long. Sometimes they make me feel like I'm an outcast. And look at my life. I have neither a suitor, nor a son, nor a daughter, or anyone for my own. My parents are gray and old. We have not enough to feed either of us. Oh, how long? How long will I remain single and miserable? And these guards harass us and ridicule me. To whom do I turn to for justice? Who shall save us? And how am I to escape? Those people, the Israelites, Yes. They seem to be marching towards our land. They're small in number, but apparently the fear of them has spread to every corner of Canaan. I heard that their God delivered them from the hands of their enemy by dividing the Red Sea. Have you ever seen the Red Sea? I only wish I had a deliverer like that. Someone who would come, take me away, and just turn my life around. Oh God, God of the heavens, God of Israel, will you also deliver me?
You know, later that night, God provided for Rahab a way out. You see, Rahab sheltered a few spies from Israel from the soldiers of her kingdom. And in turn, they provided her mercy and made her a citizen of Israel. And it all mattered so greatly at the end.
But how did her life matter?
Okay, well, let me tell you another story and then I'll explain it.
Okay, continue.
Almost 250 years later, when the whole world was affected by drought, there was nothing to eat. And there was this young Moabite woman by name Ruth. And she and her mother-in-law, Naomi, made their journey back into Bethlehem, Israel. Now, she had the most difficult task to do. That was to ask for help from the Israelites, even though she knew the tensions between the Israelites and her people, the Moabites.
There was a time when I lived my dream. I had the perfect marriage and the perfect family. We all lived together as one big happy family. We shared a deep love that united us. But then, in the blink of an eye, it all changed. I lost all of them, one by one. My husband, his brother, and his father. Before I knew it, they were all gone. Death, that cruel, unforgiving force just shook our family. I had so many questions and so much pain. And my whole world just came crashing down. But you know, my dear old Naomi, my dear mother-in-law, has stood strong through all of this. I know that she is hurting, but she seems to have this inner faith. She says that it's her faith that helps her be so strong and have hope for tomorrow. So now, here we are in Bethlehem, her hometown, far away from the home I once knew. I loved her way too much to let her go. I could have stayed where I was, but I decided to follow her. But only when we got here did I realize that neither Naomi nor I are welcomed. So this morning I set out, hoping to at least gather a basket of grain. But these workers, they won't let me gather even a handful of grain. Who do I turn to for help? Do I even belong anywhere? Oh God of Naomi, my mother-in-law, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, I have heard that you are a promise keeper, a restorer, and a redeemer. But here I am. I'm no one and have nothing to my name. Please, please come to our rescue. Save me from drowning in this sorrow. Honor Naomi for her faith. We are here because we have put our trust in you. Oh, look, there comes the master of the field. Oh, Lord, please let him permit me to pick the ears of grain so that Naomi and I will not perish tonight.
That evening, as Ruth picked the ears of corn, the master of the land, Boaz, permitted her to pick extra to last for almost 3 days. And a short while later, Boaz married Ruth. And in this way, both Ruth and Naomi were reintroduced back into the families of Israel.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes, Nora, it really is amazing. It mattered so greatly. You know, Rahab became the great-grandmother of Boaz. And Boaz, by marrying Ruth, became the great-great-grandmother of King David. And these two women were part of the lineage that led to the birth of Jesus. Now, both these women, Rahab and Ruth, yearned for a change in their situations. But they yearned for something that they couldn't quite explain. Somewhere to belong, someone to accept and love them deeply. But God answered their prayers so beautifully. Through the birth of Jesus, both Rahab and Ruth were more than just two ordinary individuals. They were more than two victims of unfortunate circumstances. You know, they were a part of God's big plan to bring us all into His family. You know, God loved us so much that He gave His perfect Son, Jesus, that whoever believes in Him would have a life that's different. Not measured by perfection or not measured by performance, but measured by love, unfailing, unconditional love. That's the story of Christmas. Nora, let me show you something. You know, this block is the perfect life, free of sin and grief. And this is us. So, how does this reach perfection with this? It is only through Christ that it is possible. You know, Christ lived a perfect life according to God's law, and knowing that you and I struggle to live a sin-free world, He, out of His great love for us, took our place on the cross, paid for our sins, and He lifts us just like this cross so that we can reach perfection out of His life. That's why He came, to help you live and discover God's great plan for you.
Wow, that's amazing.
And remember, you are God's beloved. And no matter what you do, Nothing can separate you out of God's love. Now, you better keep away these toys because Christmas is tomorrow. We wouldn't want to replace you, do we?
As if I'm irreplaceable.
Irritatable?
Oh, don't worry, Amma. There's still hope for you, and it's born tomorrow on Christmas Day.